From Polignan to Mathou, 5 centuries and 26 dates for a long story. 1548. Espagnolet de Moléon decided to build a chapel in Polignan. In 1548, Espagnolet de Moléon, Lord of Gordon, decided to build a chapel on a more ancient place which was already devoted to the Virgin. In 1611, this chapel and the house built around it were entrusted to the Cordelier monks from Valcabrera. They eventually built a house there to host pilgrims and provide schooling until 1791. 1822. The Minor Seminar of Polignan. Being built from 1922, the Minor Seminar of Polignan was originally devoted to educating young men with the intent of becoming priests, and soon it became a very much renowned secondary school that provided the sons of the Comminges' good families with education. Ferdinand Foch, a French general and marshal, also member of the French Academy in the late 19th century and early 20th century, was a student there. In the wake of the separation of the Church and the State Act of December 9, 1905, it closed down in 1908 and then moved away into the Hôtel de l'Assis in Montrégeau. Nearly left in disarray, the buildings of Polignan were allocated to the Haute-Garonne department, which was looking for a new purpose. 1906. The minor seminarists are leaving. What a regrettable exodus. The skies seemed to cry. The wind had blown into a storm all night, and when the poor children went out, the rain was pouring down and the wind gusts were raging so violently that some of them lost their caps on the way out and could not find them again in the dark. As they were soaked to the skin and mud knee-high, they got on the train, and because they appeared so distressed, they stirred the other travelers' compassion, told by P. Subercaise in the Revue du Comminges. 1914 to 1919. The number 59 military hospital. After being left uncared for, the very dilapidated buildings of the late minor seminar were hastily revamped to host wounded soldiers of the Great War between September 1914 and 1919. 1921. Learning the rural craft trades. The Haute-Garonne Regional Council, under the aegis of Hippolyte Ducos, decided to set up a school of rural craft trades in Polignan. Between 1921 and 1960, the school, being turned into a vocational school in the meantime, trained its students for different trades, such as mechanics, joinery, forging, cabinet making, masonry, electricity, and plumbing. October 1922. Daniel Brisebois welcomed the first promotion of students from the School of Craft Trades. Daniel Brisebois was originally a schoolmaster from Grenoble, and he invented the School of Polignan. From the teachings to the premises and staff members, he conceived, revamped, and recruited on his own so that everything was ready for the beginning of the 1922 school year. 1935. The vocational school's football team. In the 1930s, the vocational school relied on a genuine teaching project of emancipation. Beyond the general and technical curriculum, sports, art, and discovery of the world took center stage in the daily life of the 300 students and their teachers. 1939 to 1945, the dark years. The school did not stop hosting students. The Alumni Association destroyed all its archives to keep its members safe from the STO, or compulsory work service, and the teachers concealed the machines so that they could not be requisitioned by the Nazi army. 1950, the technical secondary school is nationalized. 1963, E, F1, F2, F3, F4, taking one's baccalaureate exam in Goran Polignan. In 1960, the technical secondary school became the higher secondary school of technical teaching, where the baccalaureate exam was prepared and the school got specialized in the building and civil engineering trades. 1963, rebirth of the Alumni Association. The first Alumni Association emerged as soon as 1929. It was put on the back burner during the Vichy regime and eventually refounded in 1963. From 1963 to 2010, it was chaired by Mr. Henry Lasserre and played a key part in each step of the school's development. 1983, the Advanced Technician Certificate in Public Works was opened. In the early 1980s, Goran Polignan hosted students coming from all corners of Midi-Pyrenees and beyond to follow courses in construction and public works, from the CAP, or the Certificate of Professional Competence, to the BTS, or the Advanced Technician Certificate. A brand new boarding school and a dining hall are delivered to accommodate and host 1,000 students, more than half of whom are boarders. 1985, the Vocational Baccalaureate was created. The implementation of the Vocational Baccalaureate reinforced the sector of the building and public works trades of Goran. 1,000 students were attending the school at the time. 1986, the premises became property of the Regional Council of Midi-Pyrenees. According to the Decentralization Act, the school's premises were attributed to the regional councils. In Goran, a page had been turned for the Department Council of Haute-Garonne, which had contributed to Goran's renewal, while the chapel has still remained property of the Department Council of Haute-Garonne. 1991, the Advanced Technician Certificate in Studies and Economics of Construction was opened. 1991 to 1993, complete refurbishing. The buildings were in such a dilapidated state that in the late 80s their reconstruction was unavoidable. The Regional Council invested 64 million francs into the renovation that preserved the volumes of the historical buildings while appending modern and more functional areas to them: library, administrative offices, and workshops. June 2000, the tribute to Paul Mathou, a former student-resistant fighter. As a student in Goran Polignan from 1938 to 1941, Paul Mathou committed himself to French resistance in 1943 after having fled from the STO, or the Compulsory Work Service. He was arrested and executed in 1944. Thanks to the Alumni Association, and after being recognized as the Higher Secondary School of Trades, the school has been bearing his name since 2000. 2006, the European Group, PE Spanish. Motivated students are recruited to take part in the European Group that mingles a 2-hour PE lesson in the Spanish language per week. They remain in this group during their 3-year course of studies at Paul Mathou. 2015, a multi-skilled higher secondary school for the higher Comminges. The newly multi-skilled higher secondary school, merging both the General and Technological Higher School, or LGT, and the Vocational School, or LP, actually associates 3 types of education: vocational, technological, and general studies. It prepares a large range of degrees like the CAP, or the Certificate of Professional Competence, in car bodywork and paintwork, and in plumbing, or the Vocational Baccalaureate in Economics of Construction, electricity trades, mechanics, industrial equipment maintenance, and public works. The Technological Baccalaureate, or STI 2D and STL. The General Baccalaureate, L for Literature, ES for Economic Sciences, and S for Science. And even the Advanced Technician Certificate, or BTS, in Ecology and Economics of Construction and in Public Works. The school hosts about 800 students and 200 staff members. January 2015. The Adults Continuing Training, or GRETA, has been set up. It was entitled Southern Midi-Pyrenees GRETA, catering a continuing education for adults. 2017. Mathou has opened up to new international opportunities. Cruzando Fronteiras, Erasmus KA2, and Erasmus KA2. Cruzando Fronteiras, an exchange with the Navarra province in Spain. Spanish students are hosted in their French counterparts' families for 6 weeks, from January to February, while the French students go into their Spanish counterparts' families from March to April for 6 weeks as well. Erasmus KA1. It is intended for the vocational school, with vocational training periods abroad for the students and their teachers in Finland, Ireland, and Spain, in relation with mechanics and industrial equipment maintenance. Erasmus KA2. The partnership with 5 other European countries, Italy, Germany, Poland, Portugal, and Romania, is intended for the comprehensive school. Mobilities in each country are organized on a 2-year period. In February every year, the open day of Mathou School. Come and see all the trainings and courses that Mathou Higher School offers.